Green. Green is a color that symbolizes refreshing, renewal, peace, calming, verdant, nature, health, and growth. It is a color pervasive in the natural environment that says renewing, refreshing, and regenerating. It represents balance, growth, learning, and harmony. Because of that definition, it's obvious why many people choose green for their March bullet journal setups, aside from St. Patrick's Day, that is. But when looking at different bullet journals, I noticed a lot of similarities between the types of plants, and although I wanted to do botanicals, I thought I'd try something a little different. Hey guys, it's Sophie. Welcome back to my channel, and welcome to my March 2021 bullet journal setup. Before we get into the spreads though, if you haven't already, don't forget to go down and hit that subscribe button and the notification bell so that you get notified every time I upload a brand new video. If you do subscribe, don't forget to comment down below "I subscribed" and I'll reply to your comment. Getting right into these spreads, I'm starting my March setup with a plant doodle, of course. But like I mentioned, I wanted to do something a little original. Instead of doing a emerald green cacti or bushes or trees, I thought that the most calming plant that I could think of was eucalyptus. Here are some pictures of the screen of some inspiration that I found on Pinterest. One good thing about eucalyptus is it also seems to be much more of a calming and less in-your-face plant, and also emulated those peaceful feelings that I'm trying to create this month. After sketching out a quick drawing of the eucalyptus, I wrote March in bubble letters. I also added a little calendar at the bottom and surrounded this picture with butterflies because for some reason butterflies and eucalyptus seem to go together in my mind. This might be one of the quickest cover pages that I've ever done, but I love how simple it is and will be easy to make other spreads later in this month. March is usually such a hectic month for me, and so that's why I wanted to kind of give off these peaceful vibes with my spread. And so on the left side of the page, I decided to do an aesthetic mood board instead of a quote page or a focus page. When I look at this spread, I always feel so calm and happy, and that's exactly the feelings that I wanted to make when journaling. So this very simple cover page is finished, and let's move on to the next page, my calendar spread. I was inspired by Thea from Thea Journals to do a sideways calendar this month. I've always thought about doing it, but never thought I'd have enough room to write all the things that I want to. If you saw on my February flip through a couple minutes ago, my calendars are always filled to the brim, and with my large handwriting, a small calendar really doesn't work for me. However, I had the idea of making a focus page on the right of this spread, and so anything that didn't fit into my calendar would go over there. More on that in a minute, but with my calendar, I just wanted to make it very simple, black lines and a green header with a simple lettering font. I also wrote March at the bottom in the bubble letters that I've been using for this entire setup. I chose bubble letters because they're simple and minimal, and I've never done them before, and so I thought I might try something new. Moving on to the right page, like I mentioned earlier, I wanted more space to write things that I couldn't put in my calendar, and so here on the right I have spaces for my focus for the month, some goals, dates for next month, April, and then also a master to-do list. I think these different categories will help me organize all the things that I have to do this month, even if they don't fit in my calendar. In the bottom right, I'm also adding another eucalyptus drawing similar to the front page, and of course adding those butterflies around the edges. Now that the calendar spread is done, let's move on to the next spread, which is going to be my tracker spread. I've been mentioning this entire video how I wanted to do something simple, but unfortunately these next two spreads became a little more hectic than I planned. Starting out with the titles, I'm of course writing habits and moods for the titles of my two different trackers, and also adding subheadings in the same calligraphy font that I used on the front calendar page. Also, if you haven't noticed, I am rounding out all of my boxes this month because I think that rounded boxes are more soft and peaceful compared to hard edges. After labeling all my habit trackers, here comes the moment of truth where I free-handed this circle tracker. Unfortunately, I do not have a circle tracer, so I had to do it by hand, but if you have a circle tracer and are more of a perfectionist than I am, feel free to use it so you get those straight and even lines. Nevertheless, for freehanding it, I don't think it turned out that badly. Before we finish off this tracker, I'm going to be adding a eucalyptus border around this entire spread. This is where it became a little more hectic than I wanted to because I felt like there were too many leaves and kind of cluttered up the spread. Nevertheless, I do like the idea of having a border in eucalyptus instead of just the plants like the first two pages, and so although it came out a little more crowded, I do like the originality between the spreads. I'm also using my black fineliner to sort of outline each of these leaves. Whenever I'm outlining them, I'm using a very loose hand and not perfectly doing it, that way there are gaps in between the color and the outline. This is a cool effect I've seen before but never tried, and what is bullet journaling if not an opportunity to try something new? After adding in some butterfly drawings, I finished off this tracker with a picture of eucalyptus in the middle. By the way, I realized that one thing I didn't add to the spread was a key for my mood and productivity spread, but they're going to be colored in similar greens as the plants were, and the habit tracker is going to be filled with those color dots as well, so the color is going to be pretty balanced on both sides of the spread. Now it's time to move to my last spread of this quick little setup, my content planner and gratitude spread. Of course, I'm starting out with my bubble letters for each of the titles, although I must admit my content title did not turn out as well as I wanted it to. Some of the letters were a little funky. I'm also adding my butterflies, and I wanted to mention how I kept them colorless. I felt like it matched the lettering because it was just with a black outline and also didn't crowd the spread with too much color. If I colored the butterflies in a pink per se, it would probably make the spread a lot less simple and minimal and ruin the effect that I was going for. I also added a quick border around the content spread and tried to keep the color focused on the inside of the leaves and the spaces without color on the outside of the leaves so that it looked like there were shadows and highlights in the plants. This is a quick trick that makes it seem more realistic, although it's really easy, especially with water-based markers. The last thing I have to do is finish off this gratitude spread with all the different stripes, and this setup is pretty much done. As I flip through my spreads, I want to say a quick thank you for watching my video. Again, if you haven't already, make sure to go down and subscribe and comment below, I subscribed. Also, please comment your favorite spread from my video and tell me what your March theme is because I'd love to hear your ideas. Anyway, I think that is it. Thank you again so much for watching, and I will see you in my next one. Toodles!